My new thing fits in a clock, rakes in a car, pulls on my brain. Are you ready to see? This is my new thing. Are you ready to see? This thing is my new thing. Shyness will show, excitement will glow. I'm sharing this thing. That thing is my new thing.
Hi friends, it's Dan Wilbur.
And Zach Sims, and you're listening to My New Thing, the show where funny people talk about their funniest obsessions.
And today we're talking about the funniest thing of all, eating it. Eating it. I don't know.
Fermented goods.
Yeah, fermented goods.
Kombucha. Sauerkraut. Pickles, perhaps. Are pickles fermented? You could.
Other alcohol. I believe that is fermenting. It's brining.
I remember when I learned of kimchi, I was talking to a woman once, and she told me that she had recently been going through a breakup, and she was eating nothing but kimchi, and I still don't really know what that means. But I think it was celery.
You don't know what kimchi is?
I mean, I know what
it's a cabbage.
It's a cabbage that's been fermented or whatever, but just the idea that that's all you're eating.
Yeah,
it's hard
it
to wrap my head
sounds
around.
like a cry for help you can't quite put your finger on.
Yes.
I get what you're saying.
But you know who loves all that stuff is Jim Tews, and
That's Jim Tews.
he's going to be on the show later. Mm-hmm. But, you know, first of all, you want to know, you're at home, you're on the treadmill, maybe you're sitting on the toilet. I don't know where you listen to your podcast, and you want to know what we're into right now, what our thing is. What are you doing?
The cat was crawling up my back. Zach, when your cat's not interrupting the podcast, what are you getting into? What are you...
Well, we should all be so grateful
I
that
know.
Eddie would be here in the podcast, and if only it was video. Dan's currently stroking him like an evil villain.
Be sneezing in the car the whole way.
So what I've been getting into right now is I've been honestly doing a little bit of a thing where, and I don't know if it's intentional or not, but I feel like I've been allowing myself to enjoy things that I used to enjoy, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Stuff like movies I liked. Masturbating in public places.
Sure. Without anyone seeing.
Absolutely.
That's just so we're clear.
Sure, not a Louis C.K., no, something much more perverted.
No, yeah, you're jerking off to the idea
Yes.
of the waves at the beach.
Sure.
Not anyone there.
No,
Who's
in a
sun
closet.
tanning. Yeah.
Wearing a mask. Yeah, things like that. So anyway, I've been watching more stand-up, and I've been going on a bit of a run of, I would say, 80s movie comedies, mostly big Ghostbusters.
Porky's.
I've never seen Porky's, actually. I've never seen Porky's.
I just remember, even from seeing the advertisements on Comedy Central, being like, this seems like worse Animal House.
I think even then, people were like, whoa!
We don't like this.
But I've been, I basically, I've gone through the whole Ghostbusters run.
Nice.
I did the original. I watched the sequel, which I think I have seen the sequel more.
Yeah, me too.
I think in our age range, partially because I think it was on TV more, because it was a little more cleaner and all those things. And I told you, I've been playing the video game from about 15 years ago. And I've been reading, I started reading this Wild and Crazy Guys. Do you know this one?
I don't know that one, but I know the sketch.
So it's a book. It's not a Nestorov, but it's another one of these about basically the era of TV and film comedy from like the late 70s to the mid 80s, which I would say is kind of the golden era of
We're
those
all
things.
getting small.
Absolutely.
Let's
There's
get
read
small.
some Steve Martin,
Yep.
100%. And just having a blast. Ghostbusters 2. It's not good, but it's not bad.
I think it's good.
The ending's rough. The ending is
yeah.
rough when they're saved by the goodness of New Yorkers, but
but you get the mayor saying, I got to go out in public and tell everyone to be nice to
Yeah,
each
sure.
other. And it's like a vision of New York. You also got, it is true, this man has no dick. I mean, come on.
That's one.
That's one?
That's one. I hate to tell you.
Fuck it.
That's one.
Fuck the second one.
And that is, I mean, that scene, dogs and cats living together, and it's true this man has no dick, are probably the two biggest laughs
Yeah, you're right.
in that movie. And this is also a time, I recently watched Blues Brothers, which I mentioned to you, where I would say a lot of this comedy, I think I would put Stripes in this category. I would maybe put Caddyshack in this category. These are personality-driven comedies more than the joke machines that maybe follow or even precede it in some ways.
I wonder now if we're in the era of parasocial relationships that just has to come back. Well, like, what if this guy who does this podcast, us, we're in a road trip movie?
I'm listening.
There are ghosts. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to come back because people are like, well, I really like those people.
Sure.
I really would like to watch Zach Galifianakis talk to children on a farm.
I would love to see people hang out. Well, it's kind of like the thing where you hear that Gen Z. By the way, do you know British people? They say Gen Z. Isn't that embarrassing?
I don't like that.
But anyway, Gen Z. Supposedly at least they don't really like movie sex scenes. They're more into like people hanging out. Because that's like the illicit thing now for them. It's just like, oh, let me see two people at a park chatting.
I think if you watch 3 episodes in a row of Seinfeld, of just somebody buzzing up and him unlocking the door, I get like really nostalgic for like people just dropping by.
The world of
the world of like, that would be, but you're forgetting because it's TV that what would usually happen is they buzz. You'd wait, you'd buzz like 3 more times because they're just dropping in, and then you'd be like, hello? And they go, oh, did I wake you up? And you're like, no, it's fine, come up.
Yes.
And then it like take you 5 minutes to really understand that someone else was in your apartment when they just dropped by or even call you. So it's not something you want to be nostalgic for, but I am nostalgic.
George is like, Jerry, were you just crying?
That's the real New York. That is the real New York. It's just someone just stressing about money and not being home. Not being home at all because they're fucking hustling or taking a walk to blow off steam.
Well, I said this before. This is a bit. I don't know if I ever did this on stage, but I'll give it to the folks at home. Give you a little free treat. I have felt, because I've lived in New York and I lived in L.A., and people always talk about how everybody in L.A. is more fake.
Yeah.
And I really think the reason why people think that is because in LA you can weep in your car.
Yeah.
And in New York you have to cry openly on the street. So I think it's just New Yorkers come to LA and they're like, nobody's sobbing around me. What a bunch of phonies. Absolutely. But what's getting you going? But anyway, I'm just going to throw it up just, by the way, just for everybody. Also, I watched Ghostbusters Afterlife. Had a nice time with it. I'm somebody who liked the lady Ghostbusters just fine. I will say, I used to say, I mean, Ghostbusters, the original, is really not much of a movie anyway. It's just funny. Having watched it again, it's a way better movie than Lady Ghostbusters. But still a lot of fun in 2016.
And you're into just hearing him talk about how Ghostbusters 3 is the video game. The video game is Ghostbusters
playing the
3.
video game. I've been watching videos where Dan Aykroyd likes to tell people that the video game is much like Ghostbusters 3. I'm going on an Aykroyd kick. Been listening to him on podcasts. He'll shill his vodka everywhere. He's an interesting guy, Dan Aykroyd.
Dude.
He's also got web feet.
Did Marcus Parks' podcast, and you should definitely listen to that, you, Zach, and the listeners at home.
Dan Aykroyd did.
Dan Aykroyd talks about the background for Ghostbusters, and you realize that Dan Aykroyd really does believe in phenomena.
Oh, yeah.
And thinks that ghosts are real and loves demonology and did a lot of research. It's like a really personal project to him. And
it's also interesting because, going in his run and listening to his interviews, he talks about how his family, his grandfather or somebody was a spiritual researcher, was into these kind of things. And there is something about it that almost everybody, when they believe something that's maybe not the norm and they believe it fully, there's always a family member that was really into it. So it's like, do you really? Or did you just grow up with this? And you're like, how lucky are you that you happen to grow up around what you believe to be so fully true? You know what I mean? Yeah. But I love Dan Aykroyd. Danny, they call him.
They call him that.
And Billy. Now,
Crystal Skull Vodka.
Now, I won't call you Danny because I don't want to confuse people.
Please don't.
What do you have anything tickling your little hobby gullet today?
You just had a flashback of like, no one's ever called me Danny. All the Dans I know are Danny's.
Yeah.
Danny Solomon. All the Dannys in my life are Danny's. I've always been Dan.
Yeah.
And the people I've been most attracted to in my life have called me Daniel. So just something fun.
Interesting.
I think it's because that's, when my mom, when I was in trouble, she'd call me Daniel.
What?
Daniel. Like that. And it sticks with you when you're older.
Fingers crossed that your wife is one of those people, but
she just says, hey. So I am into, much like you, thinking of things that I used to be into and getting back into them. My new thing is that I finished another draft of this book pitch I was working on last week. And so I got to tell you, I'm letting it hang loose.
Oh, good for you.
I'm drinking too much. I smoked a cigar last night while I watched the finals of Funny AF.
Yes.
So I would say that was my new thing was...
Yeah, sure.
I got just the right level of drunk. I had just completed something for my career, so I was not angry. And then as I watched it, I was equal parts inspired and jealous. So my new thing is like, oh yeah, I came to New York to like do something with my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like really pumped about stand-up.
Are you falling in love with stand-up all over again?
I'm falling in love with stand-up because that show was so positive about it.
I feel like I am too. Maybe we should both try.
We should try doing
stand-up comedy.
We should try. Well, that's the thing is that's my new thing is trying.
Oh.
Is that we were just I feel like we were walking around like, well, we were going to get those reps in. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then you really realize it's more like they would say it's not a marathon or it's not a sprint. It's a marathon, which is true for your well-being emotionally.
Yes.
But it really does feel like it's just sort of a constant sprint. And anybody who's successful that you see on TV was sprinting for a long time, except Reg took a little break. And if you watch Funny AF, you'll know what I'm talking about. And the funniest thing that I have noticed is there are normies watching this show, which is what makes it really exciting, is that people are watching basically a version of American Idol, but for stand-up. And they're messaging me with the same note that I think everybody has, which is, why are all the New York people better than everybody else?
Yeah, eat it.
That's right.
Lick it up, Comedy
That's
Store.
right. And don't look into who won. Because he was not a New
Actually,
York guy.
the one non-New Yorker
New York
one
guy.
of the Final Four, right?
So when you're at the goal line, the New Yorkers they have the same, but something you got to pass. You got to do a trick play. Not that he was just doing his act. So he's great. I thought everyone did great, and I've just been really into getting stoned and watching comedy like I'm in fucking college because I'm in my. I would say the next 2 weeks of my life until I get another email from my agent saying, hey, you actually have to write this book.
Yeah.
Or no, it got rejected. I'm on Easy Street, man.
Hell yeah.
I'm watching weird Korean films and I'm stoned out of my mind.
You're high right now.
I'm high right now.
I get that. I mean, there is something, I think anything that you get really into for a long period of time, and obviously the burnout can be real. So there is that thing where you kind of have to remind yourself of where the pleasure came from.
Yep.
And another time I was actually talking to my brother a little bit about this with physics. And I said, I don't do nerd shit.
Right.
But good for you, science boy.
Well, we've talked about it on the show that the only reason I got into it was to impress one woman in college. And so, I'll just imagine that she's at the show. Some people like to imagine the whole audience naked. I like to imagine her naked. So there we go. That's a bit that we can't repeat.
He's back. And you know who else is back? The great Jim Tews. And you're going to hear him right now.
Everyone's like, nah, man, I'm not going to be an engineer. I'm getting in front of the camera and I'm going to make my own podcast to be my own engineer. And it's like, well, we don't all want to be our own engineers.
Yeah.
Why would you want to subject yourself to the rigors of being in front of the camera and doing the work part of it? It's terrible.
I just had a flashback to college where we went to Columbia and we saw all these kids who were like, here's a film major and this guy wants to hold the boom mic, and like these people all want to be behind the camera to support the funny people. And then I went back to Bard and we tried to do a sketch show called I Bet My Friends Won't Come to This Sketch Show. And none of the other performers even showed up to rehearsal. So we had to cancel it. So
that's tough.
Just a real, I've never felt more alone except for right now when I film everything on my phone. And then I edit it on my phone, and I do all the lighting, and I do all the... Anyway, it's just a fun thing to complain about.
They've taken away the collaborative part of it. And I went to film school, and we were in a group with that mentality where it was like, this person wants to be a DP, this person wants to write, this person wants to do that. And we wrote, it was a small school, it was Cleveland State, so we cycled through... You had to do this on one person's film, do this on another person's film, and then you'd all take turns. But we had enough people that wanted to do enough different things that it made enough room for everybody. But now,
everybody thinks they're a performer now.
They just wanted to generate it with AI. And they're like, look, I made a movie with AI. And you're like, well, you lost all the fun. Now you're not going to have... What's the rap party like?
Sure.
for an AI film. It's like two
Well, let
guys.
me tell you, no, it's every dead celebrity you've ever thought of.
Oh yeah,
you know? Sure.
Ozzy
They're like-
Osbourne's there.
Yeah.
Oh, and he gets a selfie with you. Wow. That's
Yeah.
nice. Now, is that what brought you to Cleveland? Was to go to Cleveland State, or were you already there?
No, I got stationed there in the Coast Guard.
All right.
There we go. Is there a coast in
yeah,
Cleveland?
yeah,
There's
they-
that
the
river
lake-
that caught fire, right?
The lake, baby.
Well,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
the,
In the
there's
river.
the lake, which is the.
You're on fire watch.
Yeah, you're just watching the river, make sure it doesn't catch again. It's the maritime border between us and Canada. So.
Oh, you're
Which
defending
needs
the
to be
border.
protected.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I had an administrative job when I worked in the federal building, so
You were keeping the improvisers from crossing over.
I was. I was keeping the health insurance from getting here.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I wondered because when I was in high school, I went to a Cleveland State foam party. They had a party.
Foam party. Yeah.
Foam?
A foam party. So you might have been there. You're a little older than I am.
Believe me, I was not going to any foam parties.
Oh, okay. I went in there and pretended that I was from a different school. I was like, yeah, I go to Case. And I was like a 14-year-old boy. And I just walked into a Cleveland State party. And
You're
they were
like,
just happy that
I'm here for the
anyone
bubble
was
bath?
interested. Yeah, I was just trying to get clean.
I remember seeing a news story when I was probably about 12, 13, the local news about how foam parties were sweeping. And your child right now could be at a foam party.
Yeah, they could be lost in the
My
foam.
mind fucking it was the horniest moment of my entire life learning that this was happening all across the nation and just fully clothed people kind of damp
Yep.
Yeah.
grinding on each other and I couldn't handle it.
Well, there was a guy at Cleveland State who tried to steal my girlfriend, and we called him the foam shark because he kept just appearing out of the foam to like grind on her, and we'd be like, she's like, this is my lady. I just brought her to the party, and he was like, sorry, man. And he was like hammered, and then he'd walk away and forget, and then he'd come back like out of the foam.
Sure.
So it was a core memory.
That's
My
so
relation to
gross.
Cleveland State.
That's so gross. But
you were there making movies.
expected.
Sure. Yes.
But also like I went to college after the Coast Guard, so it was like high school, 4 years of the Coast Guard, and I did college part-time while I was active duty. But by the time I got like into college, I had already done like another year or two of like community college classes. So I was like 23 or 24 when I was like a junior.
I had that too. Yeah.
So I didn't graduate till I was like 27 or 28, something like that.
I didn't have that. I didn't graduate, but I did when I went back to Hunter College. I was around that age, and it was great for like creative writing classes. I was the king of the world.
Yeah, because you did.
I
you
had
actually
one
done
life
things.
experience. Yes. Yeah. I had been to a party that wasn't foam based, But
Those
growing
are all
up,
my stories when I was in creative writing.
now growing up, you're from Ohio though.
No, I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're from Allentown.
Allentown, Eastern Pennsylvania, about 2 hours from New York City.
And never did you go as a boy
To New York?
to New York?
Yeah, quite.
Okay.
I would say like twice a year, probably between
nice.
like my dad wanting to, make a trip in just for entertainment or like school trips. That was like a big, we went to
That's cool.
see like
Right.
Broadway shows and like, I remember going to see an improv troupe at a theater that was like right near Port Authority bus terminal. And I'm just like, this seems like the coolest thing anyone could ever do.
Of course.
Because I was
absolutely.
in like 7th grade.
Yeah, now you know it sucks.
Yeah, now I know they were all sad.
Sure. I do think there's like a thing in stand up where you, and I think it goes both ways, but where you like look down on improv for a period of time and then you reach an age where it feels childish to hate improv. There's good of everything. There's good everything.
I never hated it.
Yeah.
I never got the hate. I mean, the only thing it's like, it's one of those things. It's like you're getting mad at it because it's too accessible.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
it's too accessible for people to enjoy themselves doing this thing. And then also the problem is like when you see bad improv, it's really bad.
Yeah.
But then when you see it like the first time I went to LA, I don't know, it was like 2006 or something, just for a trip for this production company I was working for. And we went to the Groundlings and saw a Groundlings show that had Mikey Day and Melissa McCarthy were two
Oh,
of the
wow.
people that I remember.
Yeah.
And that was like, okay. Oh, all right. But even them, like when the improv would hit like a dead spot, you're like, yeah, this is tough.
Yeah, sure.
It's tough.
Yeah.
But I never
There was
did improv.
they tried to open Second City at Cleveland.
They did. They had it
and-
for like 2 years or
And
something.
who's that guy? Is there a guy named Quentin? There was the
Quinn Patterson?
Quinn Patterson.
Yeah.
Quinn Patterson. That's right. Quinn Patterson, who eventually becomes a stand-up and a great host at the Improv, was doing improv comedy first at the Second City. That's when I saw him, I was like 12. And then I was like, one day, I will bomb right after Quinn goes up at the Improv.
Is there an improv in Cleveland?
Yep.
Not to
Oh, yeah.
help it,
Yeah.
Pickwick,
Is it? Well, it
which is
might
the
be
fun
called
one.
the Funny Bone now.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The
got bought out.
improv. Yeah.
But I think we've talked about it on here before, where I used to have to audition at noon in front of no one.
Oh, you did that?
Oh, I did it. I did it multiple months
wow.
in a row, and I loved it. I had a great time. I met everybody in Cleveland through it.
Yeah.
All of us bombing and him holding up the candle.
Yeah.
What's that guy's name?
Lee.
Yeah, Lee, who was like, your premises, they're bad.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lee. And he's like, you're funny, but like your like your jokes are bad. Like,
Yeah.
you're a funny person. And then he saw me at like a festival somewhere, and he's like, you got something. And then I would start to book the Improv, and I would just eat shit. I would kill like one every 5 times, and it was sort of the novelty of a white guy was there. And
you
this was
came
like-
to
it was-
it at that point.
Yes,
You were,
like-
this is later. I get it.
Yeah, the Quinn was crushing. It was a mostly black crowd, and I would do well, but like not consistently.
Yeah.
And they were finally like, I remember him pulling me aside, and he's like, I just don't see you as a good opener for next weekend, like whatever the next weekend was. And it was like, just yes, absolutely, sir. I will go to Pickwick.
Before they moved to the bigger room, I thought it was like a better space for comedy because the ceilings were lowered. It was like when I started there, they had shows 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But I got in there, and then like at one point I kind of had off and on. I either had like the best set of my life or the worst set of my life anytime I went up there. And one time they had a feature act, Nelson Davis, who's still there. I don't know if he still does stand. I think he still does stand up in Cleveland. Super funny dude. And then I won't say who the headliner is, but he couldn't follow Nelson.
Okay.
So they brought me in, and they were like, hey, you want to do some sets on these shows? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, can you go up after Nelson to like absorb the impact?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you like cool them down?
Yeah. You're a
And
warm
then-
body. That's
yeah,
what they
and-
call it in speech and debate.
Yeah.
Someone would send a warm body, which meant like you'd have the room packed with your people, like 2 teams. I can't remember how the scam worked. It was actually like you weren't supposed to do it, but in speech and debate, you had to have a warm body in there so that they would fail or do like mediocre, and then your guys would look a little better. It would like boost their scores.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
the number 1 person. You're the number 2 person. This guy's definitely number 5. That was you.
Yeah,
but you were
that's what-
funny.
I mean, I was on the overall spectrum.
Yeah,
But that was like a really weird moment where they were not like,
Yeah, sure.
they were like, here's what you're here for.
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
And
here's
it's-
one that I remember.
They
that,
paid me. So
that you were doing too well was they banned guitars for openers.
Yep.
At least at Pickwick, because
Yep.
you were crushing.
Were you
too
a
hard
guitar
with the
guy?
guitarist.
well, they didn't. I don't know if they banned them at Pickwick, or they at least didn't for me, but at the Improv.
at Improv, okay.
At the
Sorry, I don't
Improv,
wanna
they,
smirch the. Pickwick.
No, Pickwick was like, do whatever you want. I was a
didn't know
part
this.
guitar guy for a minute.
Stephen Lynchy, or what was
Yeah, Stephen Lynch,
yeah, sure.
like some
Nothing wrong with
funny
that.
songs that were like a minute long.
Yeah.
But people love that. That crushes more
course.
than speaking.
Oh,
Yes,
If
of
you
course.
don't know, if you're
Yeah.
taking notes at home,
Yeah, it's. I mean, like, it's the same thing with improv. Like, it can be, if it's bad, it's so bad.
Yeah.
And if it's good and you know what you're doing and it works, it's amazing. And whoever the headliner was, or it wasn't even the headliner that complained. I don't know who complained. I still don't know who complained.
Yeah. It was just someone in the audience.
Yeah, they just like the audience gives a shit.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
They're drunk.
this is a really specific question before we get to our normal questions.
Okay.
We were talking about production. You're into production. You're making video essays that I love.
I heard you're a little bit of a gearhead.
You're
Is
a
that what
little
we're going to
gearhead.
talk about?
You're a gearhead.
yeah. You just
Were
guessed.
were you making those? You had a series called The Opener, which was part of HBO. In some
HBO
capacity?
Labs. It was like the long ago when they paid you, companies paid you to make internet content.
Sure.
Not the platform.
Yep.
HBO and many other TV networks had their own little arm of content production for YouTube and things. And HBO Labs was one of them. I did work for them and then like pitched them a little web series called The Opener about an opening act who was like trying to figure things out.
But I remember you had Bamford in a booth and you're just talking to her. Are you making those videos?
Yeah, I did
You did everything.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. So that's, we don't need collaboration. You were made for this.
I mean,
this section of time that we're in where you just pull out a camera and you're the editor and the voiceover and the actor, director.
Ironically, yeah, I should be doing really well.
I used it as like because I was still at comics. And I was like, there's this guy, Jim Tews, he's really funny, and he has this series. And I sent this link to them. And again, if you're taking notes at home and you want to be good at comedy, anything to make it just like super easy for a booker to just see, oh, they made this thing and it's funny in the first minute, sold. And then they just don't even think about it again. And but you like had a complete, I remember you just having like a complete TV show that they were 5 minutes long or whatever. But
yeah, they were like shorts. And I had a budget. That was the big thing. Because it's like you can collaborate if you have money to give people for their time. The comics I wouldn't pay usually because they would just be at Pickwick. Yeah. And I would like talk to them for that. But sometimes we filmed some in LA and I think people got paid to be in them there. But I did all the editing and then I would pay like a camera person a lot of times.
Was that animated?
No, that was live action.
Oh, this was live action.
And improvised. I would have like an outline because that was when like Curb Your Enthusiasm was at its peak, and everyone was like, "Well, we could just improvise a TV show."
Yeah.
No, you can't. I mean, you can if you're them.
Sure.
Right. I did it kind of I figured out how to make like beats for things and be like, here's the beats of the story. So then I would tell the comic that I was, across from like, here's my dilemma. Here's what we're going to talk about. Here's where I'm trying to go with it. Let's talk it out. And then I'll have you repeat things. I'll repeat things. We'll get the reverse angle and we'll cut it together. And that's how we did it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And they were short. So it was like, and then I would like bookend it with a little intro where I like talk to camera from like a red curtain that was in my apartment. And I got like paid to do it. It didn't. I mean, I don't know there was nothing to be expected.
It impressed
or gained
me.
from it, but
Yeah, you got this guy
That guy
sending
I
an
was
email.
there. I was like, come on, book this guy. Everybody else I pitched them, they were like, we'll never book.
Did you get booked at comics?
I wasn't in New York.
No, I think it was. Yeah, I think I was just showing them stuff.
I sent you a TVD. I remember that.
Oh yeah, so maybe it wasn't. It was pre-YouTube link.
Yeah, and then but I mean they ended up on YouTube. But I sent you a DVD so you could like play them at the club or something.
That's right.
But I didn't really I didn't even visit New York at that point.
Oh, we might have shown them in the pre.
I think that's what it was for.
I hope they fucking paid you. Probably not.
Certainly not.
We were like, we need content for this. Yeah, we would play clips of other comics who had performed at comics. So I was in charge of like cutting these clips. But we'd also, if the headliner was coming, we'd have them say like, hey, come see me on February 9th.
Sure.
And Brian Posehn did one where he had just had a baby and he did the sketch from his office clearly where he's like, shut that fucking baby up. And then he like rips his shirt off and it was like 30 seconds. It was fine. And then the best one though was that Doug Stanhope was coming and he sent us, instead of a little clip or a little DVD that we could pull from with 30 seconds of him talking, he sent us a 52-minute mini DV tape because I think he didn't understand the assignment. But it's just him getting progressively drunker with a bunch of people on his compound, and he's walking around
my
his
God.
house, and you can still see the clip on YouTube of like what Carol Hartzell cut down, but we watched the full tape multiple times, and we were dying. Like it's so offensive, it's wrong, but he's like, and he's just going like anal fisting. Comedian you've never heard of. Club that's going to close as soon as I'm done. And he was so fucking
Sounds like he was
wild.
3 for 3, to be honest.
He was,
yeah, he was not wrong on any of that.
right about all of it.
Yeah, he knows
But
about anal fisting.
I'm just saying, you had maybe the most completed, well thought out product that we put out then.
And also, like, to see that, like, you could now see somebody break down on a podcast or a live stream over the course of an hour like that. But the rarity of having a full mini DV tape of somebody like that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No matter what happens in that span of time, it's like an interesting
We got to ask if Carol must have it
watch.
somewhere.
somewhere on a hard drive.
Our usual question, since we've heard now about your adulthood and I got to gush about your early success, were there obsessions you had as a kid? Were you an obsessive kid?
In the way that I still am, where it's like, I mean, I understand now that this is like an ADD trait where you're like into something and you are like all about it for like a month and then you completely abandon it.
Sure. Yeah.
Just like my relationships, am I right? I've been with the same woman for like 18 years.
I was gonna say, I don't think that's true for any of us. Yeah, as a kid, it was. I mean, it was like stuff would come and go, and it would kind of pop back in. And the big one was like drawing and art.
Yeah, that would be my
For
question,
sure.
because you animate.
Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What are you doodling? What is or is it a doodle? Maybe it's unfair to call them
As a
doodle
kid?
as a child. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, a lot of doodling and a lot
What
of
if he was
like
just really self-serious. And he was like, my
oil
art,
paints.
Comic book heroes?
I wasn't a comic book kid.
Okay.
I'm still like it's a here. This is where I have this thing where stuff doesn't stick for me memory wise, like movies, music, whatever. Like how to do things sticks with me, but like I'm not obsessive about like comic books, TV franchises, anything like that.
Right.
And music too. Like I didn't own a lot of that stuff. I didn't grow up poor or nothing.
Sure.
But my parents were divorced and I split my time week to week. So any physical objects
Yeah, sure.
were either on my person and with me all the time, or I was away from them a week at a time.
So you had two separate furnished situations. That's rare.
Yes.
As a divorce guy, I feel like that's rare in the divorce. It happens.
It's very rare.
Yes. Yeah. They have two different homes almost.
Yeah, and I think it was like me as a kid just being like, well, I like both my parents. I'm not gonna.
Right.
Also rare. Yeah.
Yeah.
In a
Nobody.
domestic
Yeah,
home.
nobody really.
wait, so
like,
you're saying comparatively they were similar? There wasn't like a dad crash pad, studio
no, I mean like
apartment?
my
He had a
dad,
nice-
I lived with my grandmother.
Oh, okay, yeah.
You know, it was like we all lived in the same house for a while.
Yeah.
But relatively, like the rules at both houses were wildly different.
All right.
But as far as just like, I'm not going to like my dad's studio apartment.
Yeah. I know.
But I didn't have like, a bunch of my albums or comic books
Yeah.
at one house, or if they were at one house or the other. So it was like I couldn't have a collection of things that I had access to in your bedroom all the time, like most kids have.
Who had the comic books? Whose house had the comic books?
They both had the comics, they just had different comic
Oh, they had
books.
different
I see.
ones.
You
So
got
you could.
Asterix at your mom's house.
Yeah.
You got the Max at your dad. I don't know.
And it was just
Spawn
like
at your dad's house.
right, and then you're like, I felt like as a kid, I was like bounced around so much that nothing. The only thing that stuck is like something I could do and that was in front of me, or something I could take with me. Like even like music, like I had the electric guitar at my dad's house and the acoustic guitar at my mom's house, and I had a guitar at
James
both
Taylor
houses.
at mom's. AC/DC at dad's. I'm getting it.
I had NES at my mom's house. Sega
Whoa,
Genesis at my
Oh,
dad's.
that's
The
incredible.
dream.
You-
Wait,
well-
and no siblings?
Oh, I know I have siblings.
You have siblings.
I have two sisters on my
Sister
dad's
at your
side
mom's house.
and a sister.
Brother at your dad's house.
No, two sisters.
Yeah.
Two sisters at my dad's house. One sister at my
Okay.
Older?
mom's house. Older stepsister.
Okay.
The two sisters
It
at
is-
my dad's are my younger half sisters.
I see.
It's a bit of a Superman Bizarro Superman
this is-
situation. You have two, a bit of a Two-Face almost. Two
Well,
wives.
I
You probably didn't think of it that way at the time.
no, I didn't. Certainly
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
Because again, I wasn't into comic books.
Yeah, sure. You didn't
I
know.
wouldn't know
You
what.
didn't get the reference.
I was just like this. I was like showing up to lay low and try to not get into whatever drama had happened the
Of
week
course.
that I wasn't
Of course, yeah.
involved with.
Yeah.
And then like off to the next house.
Fair.
For that
yes.
week.
That is divorced kid.
Yeah. And then
101,
just
yeah.
trying to keep my grades up so that my parents wouldn't team up.
Sure.
And with you as the
Well,
focus.
what were you
Yeah.
drawing
Squeaky
then?
wheel.
What were you drawing? What were you illustrating?
I was way into Calvin and Hobbes. That was
Oh,
the
yeah.
one thing that was definitely like I was carrying around Calvin and Hobbes, multiple Calvin and Hobbes books in a backpack with my
interesting.
schoolwork. Those stayed
Just
with
like Calvin.
me. What's that?
Just like Calvin. They
Yeah.
go camping and he's supposed to bring all these sandwiches and all he's brought is like dozens of comic books.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, obviously I'm familiar. I know that the guy loves to pee, and he has
On
a
the
lot of
trucks. In the back
disrespect
of the
for
truck.
trucks.
Yeah, only by the time you
But-
became a teenager.
Yeah.
But is he like a Dennis the Menace? What's Calvin's deal?
No,
with
he's like a
Hobbes?
savant.
Yeah, he's like an incredibly imaginative kid who like is obviously like good-hearted, a little bit mischievous,
Yeah.
frustrates his parents to no end, and he has this stuffed tiger that in his mind is alive.
Okay, my mind just got blown. I did not know that idea, that
Yeah.
aspect of the Calvin and Hobbes relationship.
And it's,
That he was-
it's Calvin and Hobbes, like the fact that they're named after philosophers
Oh, right.
sort of feeds into the fact that both of them have moments of like, they're having epiphanies that sound like Kant or whatever. You know what I mean? Like he's just
Yeah.
he's like references weird little pieces of philosophy and condenses it in a way that like an 11-year-old boy would be able to understand. Like maybe the universe works like this, and then Hobbes being like, I think so, but they're going down a hill
In a wagon.
and like they're about to crash and die, and they're like, I just wonder if like when we die, if it's lights out. And it's like
Yeah.
that's what they're discussing. It's a really
Yeah.
good.
Were you making your own versions of the strip, or were you just doodling them? Or
I would either copy stuff or try to make like some sort of comic strip type thing, or I would draw like a one-panel comic to try and like make a friend laugh.
Sure.
Or I would draw like whatever appealed to me in the margins of papers. I was like a little bit. That was a thing that would get me in trouble from time to time.
Yeah, sure.
I remember drawing like piles of poop on a math worksheet, like just little piles of dog shit.
Just letting
like
them know how
trying to-
you feel.
Yeah. And
We got stink lines.
yeah,
lines on
stink
this
lines.
shit?
I remember I drew like the guy was like sitting on the date of the worksheet.
Sorry, hold
was
on.
up in-
Dan's laughing at his own joke.
No, I'm laughing. I thought he was about to say he was drawing a guy shitting.
Oh, okay.
Is that what you're drawing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was laughing
Yeah,
at
no.
the idea of a little kid drawing a man
like
shitting.
Yeah, I was probably in like 4th or 5th grade, and there's like that block where the name or the date is on the worksheet,
Right.
And I drew it like the guy was like sitting on that
Attaboy.
and like shitting down to the bottom of the worksheet.
Yes.
That's good prop work.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly.
sorry.
Thank you. You guys get it. My mom, on the other hand, I remember her seeing me do that and just being like, "This is disgusting. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Okay, you're not seeing this. You're not-
I'm not seeing my vision.
You don't get me.
yeah." And like, look at the line work. Look at there's movement in this. I'm using what's
Sure. Yeah,
love
you're
that.
using the space.
Yeah.
You're turning that into something that's art right there.
And to my parents' credit, they nurtured it to a degree. I think it was when I got to high school and they were like, "Oh man, his grades really suck. Like he's got to figure something out."
Yeah, sure.
And then that's when they were kind of like backed off on the like, yeah, go be an artist. That's when they were like, why don't you pick a branch of the military? Because you're not going to go to college.
Yes. Coast Guard's the one to do, by the way. It seems like that would be the...
I mean, totally. Now I wouldn't do it, just because of the administration that's currently in charge.
Sure.
But in the grand scheme of things, I picked it because it's like a more humanitarian mission overall, typically, and then I enlisted in end of 99. I went in, and then everything was pretty cool, chill till 9/11 happened, and then I got real serious, and I was like, oh, I'm in the military.
Did you?
I didn't have to go anywhere.
Okay, that was
no.
a dumb question, but did the Coast Guard get?
Because
did
they
do.
They do. Okay.
Well, they like. I was in the federal building doing like processing paperwork for like the Great Lakes District, and one of the port security units went to, I think Bahrain, and like we all had to get together one week when they started sending everybody. We all got together to like process the paperwork to send these guys, and they sent one of the yeomen, that was my job title, from our unit with them, and they asked for volunteers. For anyone to go,
down.
and I
you
volunteered.
You volunteered?
Oh, wow.
I was so bored.
What a hero.
I was so bored
Put me in there.
that I was like, well, I'm not going to be in the line of fire.
Right.
I don't have a wife. I don't have kids.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I was so bad at my job. They were like, no.
Yeah.
They picked someone else.
Yeah. They're like, we're still gonna lose in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, it's going to be a long run.
drawing soldiers shitting on all the paperwork. You know, it's like we gotta work it out.
Well, I maintained some level of professionalism
Well, good.
at that point.
Right.
But still, I was a 19-year-old boy, like doing paperwork and managing the personnel records of grown men.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems like the wrong way to do that, but what do I know?
Yeah, I still don't understand it, but they're like, you're not doing a very good job. I'm like, I was in high
19.
school a year ago.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't understand the gravity of any of this.
Your fault for
I was in
hiring
charge
me.
of people's. This is not the same thing, but I was in charge of people's expense reports at the comedy club where you had your thing in the pre-reel.
I mean,
and
that's
was like,
crazy
They were like,
too.
"This is for our taxes," and I was like, "I have never done my own taxes. I've been working. I'd been working since I was like 15.
Yeah.
but I had like never once been like, I don't know what this is. I paid into Social Security. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is up to my parents." But I was definitely they do that to children.
Yeah, we like child labor anyway. I feel like I don't know if there's a transition here, but let's shift ever so slightly into the world that you're currently interested in, which I believe is fermenting fruits and or vegetables, or just fermenting anything.
I'd say the transition is you were thinking about staying alive. You made it into the military and you stayed alive, even though you volunteered to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So but now you're trying to stay alive with fermented food, or how did that start?
So, fun story. The end of 24, I shot my special. We shot it in Cleveland. I obviously don't live in Cleveland, so it was a big week planned to like go out there on like Wednesday to prep for a shoot Friday. So Monday night, we're at home. We get like a bag salad from the grocery store, and my wife and I eat it for dinner, and we both wake up like vomiting.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And like miraculously, we both recovered to a normal level in a little more than 24 hours. Enough to get in a car and drive to Cleveland.
Yeah, sure.
You know, it was still a little scary.
It's retribution for drawing that man shitting so much.
I guess
that's what happened.
But I was like, of all the times to get food poisoning, and I even like, I have a pretty good record of just eating whatever I want. Up to this point, I had that record, and like not getting sick. I even had a joke about it, about eating food that's like past its expiration date. I've never really cared that much. And then I get food poisoning from the salad. I recover. I'm eating light the whole weekend. I'm fine. And then all of a sudden, like, as time progresses, I'm getting like, I'm having all kinds of weird stomach issues. I can't eat stuff I normally used to eat. Like, I'm getting like crazy acid reflux.
Oh, wow.
Like I can't. I get super full, and no matter what I eat, so I basically like stop eating. I lose like almost 20 pounds in like 3 months over the course of about 2-3 months.
Okay.
I go to the doctor. I get all the tests.
Like testing you for tapeworm and stuff. They're like, what is this?
They test for that. Well, I didn't have this other symptoms of like parasites.
Okay.
So, but they did a colonoscopy,
Right.
endoscopy, this thing where they like take a picture of you swallowing a whatever, like radioactive stuff that
Oh,
like
nice.
shows up in
Yeah.
the x-ray. And they're basically like, we don't know, man.
It's always
They're-
nice.
Sounds
yeah.
like a you problem.
Yeah. And then the doctor one of the doctors was like, okay, I think this is this can happen after food poisoning. Like your guts everything changes. Your gut
wow.
microbiome, it just like throws everything out of whack. So they tell me to start eating fiber. And then you start telling people about what's going on, and everyone has a suggestion because it's
Right.
not like,
Oh, I thought of 3 while you were talking. So.
exactly. Which, of course, I appreciate. But
Sure.
everything I read and look at is like probiotics,
Yep.
yogurt,
Yep.
kimchi, kefir.
Is
What's the
kefir
other?
a yogurt?
Kombucha.
That's a yogurt.
Kefir is like
Savory yogurt?
no, it's yogurt, but it's like drinkable.
Oh, okay.
A drinkable
All right.
yogurt. Sure.
Yeah.
Drinkable yogurt. A go-gurt.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yogurt.
Yogurt.
Yes.
Basically,
Kombucha. Are you making your own kombucha now?
I haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
I'm not.
I once
because-
met a man who makes his own kombucha, and I never left a conversation quicker in my life.
Well, I don't know what you got me here for then, because I'm.
Well, what's the process? Tell me about it. How's this work?
So I'm like, no, well, I got to start doing this stuff at home, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I'm of German heritage.
Right.
We are a sauerkraut people.
Right.
Sure.
I was going to say French fries on the sandwich.
My what?
Not
No, that's
great.
Pittsburgh.
That's Pittsburgh. Fuck.
Yeah. And that's not German.
Okay.
Uh,
I take it back.
sauerkraut.
Strike it from
We're
the
not
record.
editing it.
The jury,
We're leaving it in.
The jury will
Leave it in.
disregard. I was just saying, I'm not trying to talk shit about Allentown. I've been there.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's
You're
not
making it worse.
any more healthy than a Pittsburgh.
Oh no, it's.
I'm just
not,
saying, like,
yeah,
you're not
it's-
getting gut biome stuff. That was my point.
You are, but the only thing is sauerkraut.
Just sauerkraut. Okay.
Because it's, I mean, like German, it's Polish. Like my grandmother's Ukrainian, so we have the fermented cabbage
Sure.
column checked off. I didn't want to make sauerkraut in my apartment because I don't know how. Only way I knew how it was made is how my family made it, which is like in this weird big crock
Right.
that would just sit in the basement
Yep.
and like sort of smell for a minute.
Yep.
And then it would take like 6 to 8 months or something. I don't even remember how long, but I just know we would end up with like literally like a 3-gallon bucket of sauerkraut
Sure.
that would then go into jars, and we'd eat it throughout the year and give it to people we like.
Were you giving out sauerkraut
wow.
as gifts?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not me
Sauerkraut
personally.
people are
Well, I
back.
guess you put you have your own recipe or whatever. There's
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
its
yeah.
own.
And
Yeah.
it's a process. It takes a long time
Okay.
to do. So
Right.
if you don't want to do it, and
Okay.
and you need some space. I mean, I guess you can do it in jars or whatever, but I haven't gotten there yet. I look up like probiotic sodas. That's where I
Sure.
start.
Yeah.
Now, also you could do a sourdough thing. This is all yeast that's in the air. It's all good bacteria and mold or whatever. Not mold. Sorry. Well, I forget the word I'm
Fungus.
looking for. I don't think it's fungus either.
Mycelium.
That's mushroom stuff.
I'm just guessing things. Good bacteria.
Good bacteria. So you got to make this thing called a ginger bug.
Okay.
All right.
My mom got me a book on fermentations. That's where I learned this from. You chop up. I don't know if you want the step by step here, but I guess
do.
this is somewhat relevant. You go on like TikTok or, by the way, this is the kind of activity that will destroy your algorithm.
Sure.
It'll help your gut, but kiss your algorithm goodbye.
Well, because is it also leading you down the path toward, and you don't need to get a vaccine after you eat this.
Dude,
Is that there?
dude, it's you are feet away from that.
The precipice.
Well,
and
and you're around the corner from Homebrew Guy.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I feel like
Oh,
there's
yeah.
a couple of different ways.
oh,
it
they're
could
all
go. Yeah,
they're
yeah.
all in the room together.
Yeah.
And
Your
none
own
of-
DM
and none of them are vaccinated.
Yeah.
They're all having spreader parties. And I don't. My thing is like, I'm all for vaccines.
Sure.
Let me put that out there. Modern medicine, I'm okay with it. I don't trust all of it, but whatever. We'll figure that out as we go, I guess. However, I also think, it's good to do like the natural stuff that we do know helps.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they don't think they have to be mutually exclusive. But your algorithm will take you down. You will get like radicalized if you're not very aware of what's happening. So I go to make this ginger bug. I find some like middle ground of all 600 recipes I've seen on TikTok and Instagram. And you just chop up ginger, you put it in a jar with water and sugar, and the yeast, natural yeast that's in the air or whatever, interacts or whatever. Yeah. It interacts with whatever's on the ginger. I don't remember the science.
We don't.
behind it.
Yeah, we're not.
We're not-
we're
I'm
not
not gonna
science
double check
podcast
this.
or whatever.
But I wish I could explain this clearly.
You say the 3 magic words.
Yeah. And then
Wave
you
a
got to
wand
take,
around it.
well, you got to wait for a full moon.
Yeah.
Sure, of
You
course.
put it out at night.
Yeah. You got to
First blood.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
got to get you got to get blood from a bear that you killed in a bike lane.
And so, but you can I ferment anything? Maybe that's
Yeah.
what
So
I
here's
wanna
the
know.
thing.
Yeah.
thing. You chop up the ginger, you put the sugar in because that's what the bacteria eats.
Okay.
And then you just leave it like on a dark counter with some sort of like
That is like sourdough.
cheesecloth over
Yeah.
it. It's exactly
Yeah.
it's the same concept. And within like a day or two, it starts fizzing. And you're like,
that's fun.
And there's a part of it that you're like, whoa. It's like this weird natural science. Like, I didn't put anything in this other than these 3 ingredients. This is just stuff that's in the air.
Yeah.
And it starts to fizz, and then you grow it. You feed it. You put more thing in it, and you got to name it. Everyone says you got to name it.
Oh, really? Okay.
You
Yeah.
got to talk to it.
You got to talk to it. And then once the starter's going, then you make juice or you buy juice. We've had better luck making it. And you put a little bit of the starter in with the juice in like a flip top bottle,
Okay.
and you let that ferment. And the starter eats the sugar then that's in the juice.
Yeah.
And in like 2 days, you pop open that bottle and it like fizzes, and it's this weird like, it doesn't taste like booze, it doesn't taste like kombucha. It's usually pretty sweet if you
Okay.
don't let it ferment for too long, or you don't let the sugar get eaten up too long. If you let it ferment, then it goes, I believe it's called anaerobic, and that's when it starts to turn into alcohol.
Okay. And that's not what we're doing. We're not here to have a good
That's
time.
not what we're doing yet.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
But I'm getting there. Now here's the thing that's been an issue for me is it's like it's natural, so it's like not controllable. So I've gone through like I've only had like one really successful run
Okay.
with the ginger bug. The other ones, because the temperature changes, humidity changes, it just got moldy
Okay.
Oh.
before I could use it with the juice. So I'm still figuring that out. But it becomes this thing where you're like, it's a thing you can't get right. It's just like telling jokes. Where you're like,
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Too
a
many-
process.
too many other factors change each time you do the thing, which like feeds your weird obsessive compulsive behavior.
Well, it's a
Yeah.
community. It's like any of this stuff, which so many people come on the show, they talk about this stuff. There's always this little sub community that you can throw yourself into. This
Yeah.
one could turn into being an RFK Jr. supporter. But aside from that, it seems like there's a whole world to dig into, right?
Well, there
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And then I have a friend that I grew up with. Our moms are like best buds, and she lives in Bushwick. And last time we went to her art gallery opening, she had kombucha that she had made.
Yeah.
And she'd
Yeah.
been making it, and it was
Yeah.
really good. So, yeah, I wanted to make some water kefir, but you got to get these like weird kefir grains. And I'm like, you can buy them on Amazon, but I'm like, what's the fun in that?
Yep. Mhm.
I just found like a thing that is not drugs, that I have to like hunt down.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to find kefir grains.
Where does
And
one
I'm like
get?
texting my friend
you trying to
Jesse,
find that?
the one that makes the kombucha.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, you got a lead on
Got a
any
hookup?
kefir grains? And she's basically like, no, I can get you a kombucha SCOBY, which is the starter for the kombucha.
All right.
Which is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, good to know. Well, all right, I'm going to find these kefir grains and I'm going to let you know if I get. So now I'm in this like, I'm working my way into this circle of people who have leads on,
Sure. Well, if anybody at home listening,
Yeah, please.
if you
knows about kefir.
I mean, I could buy them on Amazon, but again, what fun is that?
Yes,
You
right.
take in the whole point of this is to have things that you just can't buy at the store.
Right. How's your
And
stomach?
My stomach's gotten better.
Okay.
I was hoping you'd be like, nothing's changed.
Nothing
but-
changed. I keep drinking booze.
Yeah. No, I haven't been drinking alcohol, and then I've just like cut a lot of stuff out of my diet, and so I still have issues with it. I still can't eat like I used to eat a lot of food. I just like literally can't anymore.
wow.
Like I'm like, well, that bowl of cereal ought to do me for a couple hours, which is like never the case.
It's
for
like
me.
a homemade GLP-1 situation.
did it.
I joke that it was, like people ask me if I like went on Ozempic, and I'm like, I can't afford that. I have the poor man's Ozempic, which was food poisoning.
You do look good.
Thank you.
It's undeniable.
We all got to try this. Food poisoning.
It's also like a real, because I've struggled with weight all my life, and you always, when you're in that situation, you always have that thing where you're like, man, if I could just like knock like 15, 20 pounds off, get myself started, to get my baseline where I want it. And that's exactly what happened. And I'm like, I did not, it's been a year of like really not having a good time.
So are you like disgusted? Is it like a GLP-1 where you're disgusted by, see like a big bowl of pasta and you're like, I could never.
No, I still want it, but
still
I
want
know
it.
that I would be in pain if I ate it.
So it's like being impotent. You still want it.
Yeah, you still want it, but
it doesn't work.
Yeah, I know. Like, I can't eat, or I'm not supposed to eat the foods that are high in these things called FODMAPs, which is like the way that your body processes sugar. And this is from the doctor, by the way. This is not TikTok.
Some of this feels a little Scientology, but yeah.
Yeah. Believe me, I'm like the biggest skeptic.
Yeah. I was
Where
going to
they're like-
ask if you are into any woo-woo stuff since this.
Not
Nothing.
into it. I have like an aunt who like reads palms and gave me.
Who doesn't?
Gave me a couple bottles of supplements that I took because I'm like, well, who cares? I'll try this slippery elm bark and black seed oil. And I've tried so many different things that I can no longer identify what is actually helping. I will say that like stress, like lowering stress helps, and like lots of physical activity. Yeah, but.
Everyone hates to hear that.
Yeah. That's like the easiest answer for 90% of any physical
like, why don't you
ailments.
drink less, sleep more,
exercise
and eat right? And you're like, well,
I'll take this pill.
I'll take a pill. Yeah.
It's a tricky thing, but you do feel like your lifestyle in general, you've become a little healthier in this scenario.
way healthier.
Do you feel more virile? It doesn't have to be sexually, just in your day-to-day life.
As a man.
But I think that it has come from not drinking.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Which I still miss. Last time I won't say sober, but like I went like 3 months before I shot my special, and then when I tried, and that was the longest stretch I'd ever done with not drinking. And when I tried to go back to like, I had a Christmas ale, a Great Lakes Christmas ale.
Great Lakes.
And I was like, you know what? This does not work anymore.
There's nothing. See, the whole time you've been talking, I'm like, maybe I am sick, and I'm just pushing through like an alcoholic who's addicted to alcohol and food.
Well,
because I'll go home, I'll drink a Dortmunder, and it will make me sick. And I'm like, I love it. I just got to have at least one Dort. And,
I mean, I would love to have one Dortmunder and then not feel like I was gonna throw up.
I feel violently ill, and I
should
still
look into
just
that.
every summer. My brother's like, I got Dort, and I'm like, let me just maybe I'll drink half of one and see what happens, and then for the next like 2 days, I'm just like, it's not that I'm sick. I'm just walking out of the house to fart. I'm just walking. I'm leaving the house so that no one has to be near me because my colon's in trouble.
How are your farts now, Jim? And
Yeah,
the
come on.
Fermented
Fermented
world?
farts.
I'm so glad you asked this.
Uh-huh.
Because that's it. I call it a nice tracer.
Okay.
You know, when you're eating like heavy,
Sure.
this is gonna get gross. If you don't like
No.
I opened the door. I'm
intestinal
sorry.
humor,
It's good enough
Yeah.
for Carlin. Come on.
He was talking about pussy farts. Okay. All right. Thanks.
I know my stomach is working well
Yes.
if I eat like kimchi or a lot of like sauerkraut and I get like legit farts.
Yeah.
Here's how I knew something was wrong.
Okay.
I was getting the farts.
Oh, yeah.
I was just getting bloated.
Oh, wasn't going anywhere.
It wasn't going anywhere. Like literally, my wife and I measured the one night. I was like, my stomach's getting like crazy bloated. I can feel it in my pants. In fact, I don't want to reveal anything, but I have suspenders on right now because if I wear a belt, it's too restrictive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So I either wear elastic band pants or I wear suspenders.
My
You
God.
could also be a Southern lawyer in a race
that's
trial.
right.
I'm kind of
at
into
any moment.
cigar,
suspenders.
man.
Yeah.
Here's going to be the real tell is when summer rolls around and I can't wear an overshirt.
That'll be interesting.
And you're going to
yeah.
see me in suspenders
Yeah.
looking like
My dad wore
Gallagher.
suspenders for a while. That's really all I have to say about that. But it's an interesting look.
I'm going the opposite way. I'm going
It's a,
cummerbund.
yeah. It's a real like. I'm going to see where it lands. I'm just going to say. Let me say it's a good thing I'm married. And I did ask my
Yes.
wife, like, "Hey, does the suspenders thing like just shut you down?"
Right.
And she was like, "No,
I
it
always
doesn't."
had a thing for Gallagher.
Yeah.
Well, it's also nice that you're married because she at least went through the inciting incident. But does Shanoa
Yeah.
didn't have any of these?
No,
she's
she's
like,
fine.
no, I'm fine.
And is she supportive of your fermenting journey?
Oh yeah,
trying
she's
all
way
of
into
it?
it. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
way into
Okay.
it.
It doesn't stink up the house.
No,
Okay.
not that because I don't do it. Like I said, that's why I don't do like the heavy stuff. I haven't gotten there yet.
Well, what's the goal? What's the next? I guess it's the kefir, but beyond that,
I'll
what's
do the
To
kefir.
start his own fucking.
I want to try
fermenting biz.
kombucha. I would 100% be a guy who just sells fermented stuff at a
of
farmer's
course.
market.
Never seen with his pasta
I would
sauce.
sell it. I would like ride a bike around with a little trailer, just selling like.
You'd have to grow out a little ponytail potentially, but that would be, you know.
Yeah, you'd have to change a lot.
I
of
think it
things.
would just show up on its own, just like suspenders. But I just wake up one morning and
Suspenders in a ponytail.
I'm like,
and then you got perfect.
what the? I wake up and it's like already tied. It's already in a band somehow. My wife's like, wait, turn around.
What's happening?
So we measured my stomach the one night. I was like, measure it in the morning and then measure it at night before bed. And it expanded when it was at its worst, 4 inches
Jesus.
around.
That's
like,
crazy.
At my belly button.
Yeah.
I'm scared to do that. 'Cause I'll find
You'll
out.
see. Well, you'd feel it in your pants if it was that
Oh.
bad. Because it,
Yeah, you would.
it goes,
I-
yeah.
Yeah.
I know I've been
the
feeling
old-
something with all this ferment talk. I'll tell you that much. I don't really know what that means. But Jim, if
Firming
people are at home, so you made it worse. Jim, if people are at home and they want to get involved, they want to get interested, what would be some tips you would give to somebody who wants to
For home fermenting?
begin the home fermenting journey? Because it's a fun idea.
don't
My
have
brother
any-
homebrews. It's like a thing that I feel like people, particularly if they don't live in apartments,
Oh, yeah.
are interested in this kind of thing.
I mean, you can, like I said, like you will destroy your algorithm. Maybe start a separate YouTube account.
It's a good idea.
To
A
look
burner.
this stuff up, a burner. And try and find somebody who doesn't like all of a sudden like sneak in a Bible verse or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe.
Well, that
unless
was-
Bible, you're okay. I mean, Bible verses are one thing. I could tolerate that.
Sure.
It's the like if they start getting real like maha about it, like
And I would imagine that's tricky. I would imagine it gets a little.
oh,
off
it's
from time
rare
time.
to find someone who's like,
Yeah.
here's how you ferment things, and
And I went to
Black
college.
Lives Matter.
Yeah, Well, I think I talked about this before, but I went through a period where I was watching a lot of these streamers open baseball cards. I was going through a
Okay.
baseball card phase.
Okay.
And that was like it would be like 6-hour streams, and then you'd jump ahead and you'd hear the guy be like, "Well, all I know is I didn't come from a monkey." Just as he's like ripping these.
Yeah,
So
you
it's-
really want to. Yeah.
It's a different situation. Well, tell us about the special. What's the?
That's on
available?
YouTube. That'll set your algorithm.
There
in
you go,
a
yes.
place.
The right way.
It's called With Pictures, and we talked about the cartooning thing. I use a slideshow in the special. So about 50% of it's got some visual components, and we shot it in Cleveland. It is a self-produced thing. I'm really proud of it, which is hard and weird for me to say.
Yeah.
Even.
Where was
it? At Imposters.
Okay.
A little black box theater. They let us like take over the space, and it was fun. But yeah, that's floating out around there, and I put clips up on my socials all the time. And
And you have good, not all your clips, but you have animated clips as well. Which is
I have some animated clips. I'm going to do more soon. That's on my list of things to do. And I do like weekly vlogs. I'm just trying to feed the beast.
Yeah.
Is it harder to animate or do those video blogs? 'Cause the video blogs have a lot of editing, and I
Animate
imagine
probably.
it would be harder to animate.
Well, the video blogs are kind of fun because there's the shooting process, and that part's fun. The animation is just like sit down at the desk
Oh, that's
for
right. Yeah,
2-3 hours at a clip.
Yeah, sure.
Draw man shitting.
And you draw man shitting. I draw myself shitting on a regular basis without getting
The
bloated.
vlogs are great, though, because it does show
Thank
you,
you.
it inspires people to leave their home, and it shows things that are happening all over New York City and beyond.
Well, that's why I was like, I did it for myself. Because
Yeah.
again, with the not drinking thing, I was like, I'm going to need something to do in a hotel room when the show's over. And I'm going to need an excuse to like pay attention to what's around me and not look for a recommended bar.
Yeah, sure. No, of course.
So when I started traveling more and decided when I was traveling to get ready for the special, I took my camera on the road and like just trying to find something to do that gave me some like consistency or whatever.
Yeah, that is like it's not an obvious, or it is obvious. Just it turns out that as humans, we need to have things to do. And, yeah. That's something that I think we all have to learn at some point. That you do need to fill the time.
Yeah, and the also I'm fighting the algorithm with it because these things, people that I like, that like me, see them and they respond, and it's great. I love that. I can't stop doing it because my 82-year-old aunt who lives in Florida is like, I love these, and I miss New York, and she's like super liberal, lives in the super red part of Florida, and is like, this is like my portal to the normal world.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I do them for those people, but they do not break past the algorithm because they're not in a format that is like theoretically it's kind of a dated format.
Right.
Yeah,
but it's what I would like to watch, so that's what I'm making.
You got to break it down into the 40 stills with text of. I do like those for the stand-up clips because then you don't even have to have the joke work well. You can just put
put a little punch or a little riff.
I've rewritten so many jokes to those.
Well, thank you, Jim. This was great.
This was awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me here.
There you go. Thank you to Jim Tews. Check him out on Instagram at Jim Tews. Don't get easier than that. TEWS. Also, his special with pictures on YouTube. Search Jim Tews.
I love Jim Tews. Every time I've told somebody about him, they say, "Oh, you mean Tim Jews? Ha ha!" And I'm sure he got that a lot.
That's happened every time?
I was just remembering the last time it happened. I was going toe to toe with a lady in a coffee shop, just chatting. Hey, and look at my sign that I'm going to put up. And she was like, Tim Jews, more like Jim Tews, Tim Jews. And we were laughing, and it was really funny. And I was just giving her all kinds of shit. And then she left, and the barista said, that was Natalie Portman's mom. And I was like, cool.
That's a fun fact.
That's fun. So, Jim, Natalie knows about you.
Well, her mom.
Her mom does.
I don't think you knowing that would have altered that interaction at all. I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to change. Jim also does great animation. He animated one of your clips, correct?
Yeah, NBA Jam, and he cut his most recent video essays, which we talk about in this podcast. You better believe it features me and you because he came out to Huntington.
Yes,
and so you see yourself for a second on the train.
Me and the great Chloe Radcliffe riding the train, the dream trio we've always wanted. Dan, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Dan Wilbur Comedy on TikTok, on Threads. I'm crushing on Threads. I'll repeat it again.
Yep.
I'm talking millions of views for something I pulled from my Facebook memories from 15 years ago and just was like, that's a good pun. I'll put it back up there.
There you go.
The latest one was, I'm turning 40 this year and everything's really starting to click inside my body. Just a great post.
And that got 1 million?
No, it got like 25. Don't worry about it. But you can see great jokes like that every Wednesday night at Young Ethel's. It's called We Have Fun. Zach and I both are in charge of that bad boy, and you should come see that. It's free. Zach, where can people find you on social media?
Zach Sims Comedy on TikTok. Also, Zach Sims on Instagram, posting clips. Maybe I got to figure out how to do these photo things. We're talking about got to get that going. Maybe somebody can tell me. I can Google it. Young Ethel's in a couple weeks, May 21st. I'm going to be at the bomb shelter. Run for your life to the bomb shelter. Fun show, Midtown Manhattan. Always a good time. And until next time, see you, hobby holers.